Welcome to the Lowdown Podcast, the show where we dive deep into the topics that impact evolving originators. I'm your host, Connor Bartley. Bam! And joining me today is someone that over the years I have just gained tremendous respect for. I've seen his content on social media and his just profound commitment to the customer service experience and really creating an amazing experience for his clients. He is Mr. Home Loans Made Awesome. Jonathan Wilson, welcome to the Lowdown, man.
Thanks for having me, Connor. This is cool. I'm excited. Love
Yeah,
that intro.
absolutely. As you know, this audience is evolving originators, loan officers that are figuring things out and they're ready to take kind of that next step. And so I love to have guests on and sort of break down the things that used to frustrate them and or challenges that they had, and then sort of the next step that they took to overcome those. And you seem to have really found your voice and found your way with that customer service experience. But before we dive into that, I really want to give you an opportunity to kind of share your story because I think it's a really interesting one and just kind of give some context into how you got to where you are today.
Well, I'm a Southern boy from Saudi Daisy, Tennessee, if you've ever heard of that little town. But I moved up to the Middle Tennessee area to finish up college and put myself through college working for title companies, actually. So I had a lot of experience on the title side that kind of shifted pre-recession. I actually worked as a closing agent. I was going to people's homes and having them sign the paperwork and getting a lot of interesting questions on some things that I didn't really understand all the concepts of. Right, the paperwork that people. I mean, I remember a guy looked at me across from my kitchen table and he just point blank asked me, "It's like, how long would it take to get foreclosed on?" And I was like, "Oh man, this is heavy, right?" But I was a closing agent. I shifted over into the lending side. I worked in the closing departments for some major lenders, as well as processing a little bit. Um, Worked as a loan officer assistant for a little while, and kind of came to a crossroads. I had been in the industry, the real estate industry for a while, and I was just kind of like, I don't know, maybe I need to try something different. I didn't really have a huge amount of respect for a lot of the folks that were in the industry that I had experience working with, and just felt a little bit icky about staying in it. Right. So I decided just to try something different. Let's just see what else is out there. Right. And I worked for, I'll just go ahead and say the name, Caterpillar Financial, the big machines. Uh, I was helping I was working in the commercial credit sector of that. So I was helping a lot of companies finance their machinery. Um, and I was there for about 5 years. And I can't say that that job really spoke to me or that I was super excited about where that would lead me there. But what I did really respect and really learned a lot about is the client experience, the customer experience. They were big on that. So, uh, you know, one day I think I um, was just kind of considering what my future options were, and I just kind of thought, thinking back to my previous experience, wow, I mean, I think the mortgage experience could be so much better for everyone. And I kind of just started thinking about it and it just kind of nudged me and I couldn't let go of it. Right. And I was like, well, maybe I just need to get back in and be an originator and do things the way that I think that they should be done. So I went full in. I had a very young family. I was nervous. I was scared. I was everything. Right. But I had the belief that it could be done and had the faith that it would work out. And, I remember going into the first place I worked, they were just kind of like, well, here's your computer, go get them. Now I've got to like, because I had all these aspirations. Oh, I'll get a good
Yeah.
experience. I'll be a good advisor. But then it's like, oh, wait, you got to like market yourself. You're really a marketer, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
which is weird to me because I still this day don't really consider myself. I know I am like in sales, right? But I hate even saying that because I don't really want to be in sales, right? But it's all about marketing yourself and how, differentiating yourself against all your competitors. So But that's my story. I joined in a coaching group right off the bat and met some incredible people that had similar ideas, similar mindsets, and learned a lot from them. And it just kind of created this experience for folks. So yeah.
That's a great first move, jumping into a coaching community. I think there's a lot of people out there that wait a long time before they go into that or start taking that route. And I think that really sets up a great foundation for you. Like, how has that been influential in the way, like, I mean, just getting started and then going into that? How did that influence the way even got started at that point?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for the coaching, I don't know if I'd still be in this, right? Because the group that I joined, it's not just about how to get deals. It's about mindset. It's about, making sure that you're not, you gotta have the work-life balance, right? Not to like it is kind of help you through all these same experiences and emotions that we all feel, right? And just support from each other. It's not just the coaches, it's the other people in the community. It's more like a mastermind, right? So we kind of lean on each other when we need help and guidance. And it's been awesome. So it's the best thing I ever did was join coaching.
That's awesome, man. Well, so you left the industry, worked in another one, saw some things that you loved about how they operated and wanted to put those back into practice in mortgage. What did you see as some of the biggest gaps that needed to be filled? Where were the inefficiencies, or where did you see the experience could be enhanced the most off the bat?
I felt like, and I had gotten a mortgage, by the way, a couple of times as well myself, right? But in the environments that I was working in, I felt like the client was basically just a number to everyone, right? You get them in and then just let the machine take them to the closing point, right? I didn't really like that. I remember when I bought a home, I thought that I needed to do something a certain way, and I was just dead set on it. And my mortgage person was fine, but he didn't like open my eyes like, hey, if you do this, you're actually going to set yourself up for a better future, right? And I really wish he did that. So with the guidance, the experience in general, I just knew that the industry lacked a lot of that, and we don't have to treat people like numbers. We can treat people like human beings and be cool and help people through these. I bought a home a couple years ago. Like I went through all the emotions myself. You really need to have someone that kind of hold your hand through the whole process, and I felt like that's what the industry is lacking.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear you say that about buying another home and going back through the emotions and all of that. It's something that it's the blessing of perspective, right? And, as a loan officer, you don't want to buy a new house every year just to give yourself that refresher course on what you feel and what your clients feel, but it is helpful, to go through that because you do gain some new perspective on, oh man, I don't want my clients to feel the way I feel now. And so, not that I'm advocating for anybody to just go out there and buy a house, but it's a good call out to really
Right.
think about what it is that people feel when they go through this process. So, how are you enhancing things for your clients? What are some of the things that you feel have been, that you learned from your time at Caterpillar that you've brought over with you and that have helped made the experience better?
Yeah, so the way I've always done things is I look at it from a perspective, what if I got that email? How would I feel about that? Right? What if this said that instead? Or what if I mean if we can tweak the wording in this a little bit and make it sound a little bit more exciting and not just boilerplate, not just automated, right? So I really just kind of, you got to systematize things, right? And I did that, but I had to make sure that every step of the way I was trying to understand how it would feel to receive that communication, right? And no matter what it is, maybe it's an automated, hey, your loan went to underwriting or clear to close, or maybe it's just, hey, thanks for uploading your documents on your pre-approval. Now let's schedule a time to kind of go over options together. Just how that reader is going to experience that email is how I look at it. So
Right. Yeah. So you said a key word there, systematize, and I love that concept. I think it's essential for growth. if you're constantly starting over with every step of the process, with every client that you have, growth becomes your enemy at that point. You can't keep up. It's all eventually going to catch up to you. When did you make that decision? Like, when was systemization a part of your process, and how did you know it was the way to go?
Yeah, I feel like the first year, maybe year and a half, it was really just sink or swim for me, right? Like I was just trying to get my feet wet and figure things out and relearn how the processes have changed since TRID and all the things that I didn't really understand, right? So the first year and a half, it was really just grunting it out. But after that, after you start having a few more loans, I've got to organize things, right? And so with coaching, that helped a lot too, to try to just, all right, when this happens, do this, and it triggers these things to do whatever, right? So I would say probably a year and a half or so in is when I really started on that, and we change it all the time. Like we'll change it all the time, but we go in there and adjust things all the time,
Yeah,
right? Just based on new things that come up or whatever.
right. Well, I like your mindset of just, how would I receive this information? How would that make me feel? I think that's incredibly smart. Let's talk about the $2 bill. Because I love what you're doing with that. I see that. Like, where did that come from, and how has that been received by your clients out there? And let's talk about the $2 bill.
Yeah, so that was actually, I'll be honest with you, I stole that idea from someone else in the coaching group that I'm in. I 1 year I did a $1 bill challenge. But the idea is you take the dollar, the $2 bill, or whatever it is, and you do something nice for someone else with that, right? So all of my past clients for that year all get a $2 bill in the mail with a letter explaining what the challenge is. So you're either going to brighten someone else's day, you're going to do something nice for someone else, maybe someone who, or put it with a larger donation towards some other cause, right? But I just challenged everyone to do this, and I also gave prizes out, like let me know what you did, and I can share that on social media. Put everyone in a drawing, at the end of the year or in after I've received all the submissions and announce some winners through that. So it's just a way to kind of give back and a little cool. $2 bills are kind of cool. I think like
Oh
some people
yeah,
might think they're a little dorky, but I think they're cool. And it's just like a unique thing. Like I got a lot of stories where people gave them to kids they'd never seen them before, or given to someone needy, or there's all sorts of just cool stories that came through that.
yeah. What percentage of your clients would you say like engage in that? And because I love that it's unique and different, and it drives people to remember you and share their stories, and it gives you something else to talk about with them. So uh, how many people really get
Yeah,
involved?
I would probably, I mean, not everyone, right? And I'm sure there's people that participate, but then don't really care to know, don't really care about the drawing or whatever. I would probably say, maybe 20, 25% of the folks that received one I heard
That's still
from.
great, man.
Yeah.
25%, and you do great volume, and so that's a good chunk of people to say, okay, I'm gonna go out there and do some good and tell my loan officer about it. Like,
Yeah. Right.
but it creates for some good stories, and makes you memorable. So that, as far as that goes, like the memorable aspect of things, like have you seen that translate over into business in the future and referrals and things of that nature, or how has that been, um,
Well,
translating in your business?
yeah, so it's a touch point, right? So I can't really tell you like, hey, I sent this $2 bill out and that got me my next,
Right. Yeah.
purchase, right? Like and I never try to look at things that way. I really just try to look at, unique ways to stay in front of your past clients and things like that, and not in a salesy way either, right? So it's I have clients that get really excited about things like that, and then I have some that don't, and that's fine. It's not everybody's thing, but it's just another touch point. It's another email, text message back and forth that I didn't really have to like start with rates or nobody cares about that, right? It's a fun way to do things and to give back to
Yeah.
the community as well.
That's great, man. So, do you do anything else like that, or are there other touches that you do that are unique or fun like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I could talk about a lot of things that we do. I mean, the one cool thing, and I'll share this, and I think that everybody out there should utilize this, is I've got a Facebook group for all of my clients that I put them in, and I'm not in that Facebook group. It is not something that I'm selling anything about, or I might post like, oh, it's tax time. Make sure you've got your CD or whatever. Right? It's helpful stuff like that, but it's
Right.
never.
Education. Yeah.
Right. It's never me like, hey, who needs to get a mortgage today? Right. It's none of that. But what I will do is occasionally have giveaways and contests. And what I like to do is, just something fun. I'm just, hey, the seventh person that texts me their current favorite song gets a gift card. Right. And so then I have clients texting me, which is cool. And you can kind of catch up through that and see how things are going. I built some playlists on Spotify and Amazon. Sorry, Spotify and Apple Music, so my clients have access to the playlists of everyone's favorite songs and stuff too. So it's just little, just fun things like that.
Yeah, that's fun, man. So, is that I don't know the geography of where you live all that well, but like I love that you're building a community within the community. And so, like, do these people know each other a lot of times, or
No, they
like how
don't. Well,
close are
some of
they?
them do. Some
Yeah,
of them do, right? But no, I'll tell you, like, there's not activity really happening in that Facebook group except for when I post things like that, right?
gotcha, gotcha.
No one really knows each other or really talks to you, and it's just purposely just for me to like have something fun to get to do for my past clients. So
Well, I might steal that from you and start sending out, send me your favorite songs, and number 7 gets,
right, right. No, it's a lot of fun, and a lot of my clients have some interesting music taste, but that's okay.
right? Well, I mean, we can learn a lot about people from what they like to listen to, but,
Yeah.
so I mean, what is next for you? I mean, in terms of the future, how does that look? What are some things that you might be working on right now that you're willing to share? I don't know if there's anything you wanna, kind of put out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
What's next for you?
Right now, I'm feeling a pull to do more educational content of some way, shape, or form, right? I'm getting a little frustrated with a lot of the misinformation that's out there, including home buyer guides that honestly, like realtors give out, and it talks about mortgages and this is incorrect information, right? So I want to be a better resource for that type of information. So I've got some things I'm working on. Haven't ironed out everything yet, but that's my next kind of goal is to get some good material out there that's really helpful and correct for potential home buyers.
Yeah, I mean, as an industry, we have to this is something that came up on our, Loco mastermind earlier today as we were talking, as an industry, we have to be ahead of the bad news that's out there. And to set the record straight, if we let the headlines do all the talking for mortgage, then there's going to be a lot of bad information out there and a lot of scared buyers who, believe something that might not necessarily be true. And so I love that you're taking on that project and really kind of looking to create better education for the future. I think I mean, that just empowered buyers make empowered decisions. And, when they're confident, it makes for a better process.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more. And I'm looking forward to what we're doing. And it's just a little bit of a process, but it'll get there. And I'm excited about actually getting correct, good information to the home buyers out there. So thank you.
Yeah, that's great, man. Well, let's wrap up here real quick. If there is there any just last advice that you could give someone that might be listening to this who's trying to figure out a better way forward on how, they're retooling their customer service experience or anything like that. If you could give one or two pieces of advice to that loan officer, what would it be?
I would just say have a written out system and know what is supposed to happen at every step of the way from the moment that someone no, actually from the moment that someone refers someone to you through beyond the closing, right? Not, once the closing happens, they're still people. You still need to help them and be there for them as things change in their lives, right? So just systematize all that, get it all written down and look at it. We do an audit every year. We go through the systems that we have and we just see what can be fine tuned, what can be a little bit better, what can we uh, what words can we change around to make it sound a little bit more, you know, friendly or just comforting to the client. And other than that, I would say go to your closings. Go to the closings. Go to all your closings.
Yeah, I love that you do that, man, and I love seeing the pictures and that you're out there. And there's some opposing thought on that out there, but what's the harm if you can do it? I think there's always it's a good thing to
Yeah.
be out there in front of those borrowers and be seen and be a part of that process. You've been a part of it all the way up till then. Why leave them
Yeah.
hanging? So
Love on your clients, because without them, you wouldn't be doing this. That's how I look at it. Be there for them. Gotta love on them. So yeah.
absolutely, man. Well, hey, Jonathan, thanks for joining the lowdown. I appreciate all the insights that you've shared with us today. I know the audience appreciates it. And if I can do anything for you, you just let me know. If someone wanted to reach out to you, where could they find you?
I'm just homeloansmadeawesome.com. That'll have all my or follow me on Instagram. I'm on all the things. Home Loans Made Awesome.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks again. And I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me.